and I can see some of like the spring flowers popping up in people's yards, and all I want to do is be outside. It's not fair.
When I'm at my other job, I have a window by my desk.
Oh,
I'm kind of like a flower. They're like, you just lean more and more into the window,
Yes.
and I'm like, I know, because the sun is shining. And,
Yes. Oh my goodness.
But good things come with spring.
Yes.
And you have one of the best programs coming up, the Rain Barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're very excited. So our Rain Barrel program, if you don't know what that is, in partnership with Decatur County Soil and Water and Decatur County Recycling and Purdue Extension, we prep around 20 to 30 rain barrels. So they're a plastic barrel with special drills or holes drilled into them. So you can set them up with your gutters and collect rainwater from your gutters to use in your garden or maybe for washing things. Just an extra way to maybe save some water and save some money. So our friends over at Soil and Water and the Recycling Center are actually at the fairgrounds right now prepping those barrels because our program is tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow night, and we have limited seats available, but there are still a few left. So if you are interested in showing up to our program, you leave with a free rain barrel that you get to take home. It's a 50-gallon drum. You can save a lot of water with them. So yeah, everybody would get a free rain barrel, and then we also have an educational program, how to set it up at home, how to make more, how to use our water that we collect, and then we also touch on composting as well. So it's a really great program. We've given away probably over 400 rain barrels at this point, and we'll look to give away another 30 tomorrow.
I know my mom has one, and she loves it, and she uses it to water flowers. The dog's bowl gets filled from it. I mean, it's just like...
That's awesome.
It's a very versatile rain barrel that does everything.
There's a million different uses for it. We have 2 set up at our community garden that were painted by one of our local 4-H groups, and they're really neat. And you can decorate them however you want.
Since there's still a few seats left open, and if someone wants to come, how do they get registered for that?
Yes, you can call the Decatur County Soil and Water Office, which I have to look their phone number up off the top of my head. I don't have it. But you could also call the Purdue Extension office as well, and we could get you signed up, pointed the right way.
Get everybody together. Collaborate,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't have the Soil and Water phone number off the top of my head, but you could call the Purdue Extension office, and our phone number is 812-663-8388.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Fun. That's the way to kick off spring right there.
Yes, absolutely. Now, if you're not a garden person, maybe you're more of a cattle person, another great way to kick off the spring is breeding season. So a lot of people are breeding their cows soon, around the end of April, early May. So that's another program we have coming up. It is our AI school. And when you say AI anymore, everybody thinks artificial intelligence. And it's not that. It's actually artificial insemination. So it's learning to breed cattle. We have that program coming up. It'll be April 21st and April 22nd. We're having that at Cox Livestock in Ripley County. Limited seats are available for that as well. I believe we're capping the class at 18. We're nearly full, so if you are interested in getting signed up for that, give us a call again at the Purdue Extension office. Our phone number is 812-663-8388. It's 2 full days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll have lunch for you guys both days, and you get hands-on experience actually practicing inseminating cattle, and then you get a toolkit full of everything you would need to do it at home, minus the genetic material, which you'd have to buy separate. That's a little bit expensive.
What a great class, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so informational.
Class. Absolutely. I've gotten to help out with it for the last 2 or 3 years now, and it's really great getting to, one, meet those cattle producers in our area and talk with them, but also just seeing them get the education and come in a little bit unsure and leave very confident. So.
Very cool.
For that.
Now's the time to act, though, because that one's almost full.
Yep, that one's nearly full, so give us a call, and we'll get you signed up. And if not, then we do have a wait list, and we'll get you on the wait list. We do this program every year.
All right. What else do we have coming up?
So another exciting thing we just talked about spring is our community garden. So for people that don't know about the Decatur County Community Garden, that is located out by our health department on Ireland Street by that new playground that's in. I didn't realize that playground was new.
Newer, yes.
Yeah, newer. I think it's been there for at least 3 years because I think it's been there as long as I've been
Yeah,
in this county.
I would say it's probably a 5-year if I was guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But people come visit our garden and they say, I had no idea there was a park here. So I always say by the new park on Ireland Street. But yeah, we've increased.
The tarp has been laid, right?
Yep, the tarp is down. So
Okay.
some people might be thinking, why is that tarp there? And that's to help us kill the grass from our lawn. Lawns and gardens do not mix very well. So we lay that tarp down to help suppress that grass and then also hopefully suppress some of the weeds that we'll see pop up through the summertime. So we've got that down. We've got that prepped. We have a couple new raised beds. We've got our old raised beds from last year, planning to fill all of those. And we're looking at planting things like tomatoes, peppers, zucchini. So I don't think we're going to do any yellow summer squash. We're just going to do zucchini because I think the zucchini went like hotcakes.
It was very prosperous, wasn't it? It was prosperous and people loved it.
Yes, absolutely. They were delicious. I know I took a couple home, made zucchini bread and things like that. So yeah, we're very excited for that to get kicked off. And we will be planning to plant our garden. I believe it's May 16th is a Saturday. I believe that's when we're doing it. Let me pull up my calendar just to double check. Yep, May 16th will be our planting day. So if you are interested in helping us out or just want to spend a day outside, come see us at the community garden. We'll bring your gloves, your trowels, and we'll also take donations too. So if we're looking for, plants, we're looking for garden tools, and then also I know it's hard to find and ask for, but if anybody has any old cattle panels setting aside, we'll actually use those to trellis some of the plants. So definitely our cucumbers and maybe our tomatoes and our peppers as well.
You know what I think is really cool about the community garden is it's so inclusive.
Yes.
Because there's raised beds, there's some wheelchair accessibility.
Yep. Yeah. So that was something very important to the founders of the community garden was that we wanted to try and make it as accessible as possible. And, that is something that we work towards more and more every year. But so we actually have a paved little section from our parking lot, so it would be wheelchair accessible. And then we have some handicap accessible raised beds, so they're set at a good height, and they're actually set on an angle, so you could wheel a chair right up to it and do some gardening there as well.
So fun. It's so fun for everybody. And then as the garden becomes prosperous, it's shared with the community.
Yes, and that was another thing that we were working towards was getting a farm stand put together. So there's actually a member of our community that said that they would build one for us.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so we're going to have a nice little farm stand. So hopefully it'll be maybe a little bit more visible to people because I know that's one thing people said they drove past and they didn't know where to pick up the produce. So now we'll have
stand out, won't it?
Yeah, it will. Good pun.
Very good. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it grow because last year was a remarkable year that nobody knew what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a learning year, a growing year. So yeah, we're growing, we're learning, and we're excited for this next year.
Very good. Yeah. Your world is busy, so I know you've got other stuff coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull my notes back up here. So definitely trying to think about things that are happening this spring. I've heard people talk about the ticks already.
Yes, because last year was a bad tick year.
Last year was very bad. I know I pulled them off my dog in like February. But I've definitely seen people start asking about ticks. What is this? Especially the little teeny tiny nymphs, some of those first couple instar stages. So an instar is what we call a tick right after it's hatched, but before it's an adult. So they are really, really teeny tiny. They take a blood meal and then they morph or grow. So they move through several stages, and I think it's about 5 or 6 stages of growth before they reach adult size. But in order to reach that next size, they have to take a blood meal, and then they usually fall off their host. So right now we're seeing them very teeny tiny. They could be as small as a poppy seed, especially Lone Star ticks. We tend to see those in large groups, and those live primarily on rodents. So if you're seeing Lone Star ticks maybe on your kids once they come in from outside from playing, maybe be looking and seeing if there's any bushy areas or maybe some overgrown grass, things like that, places where little critters are going to hide. So they live on things like rabbits and mice and rats, things like that. So I know we don't like to think about the mice and rats part, but rabbits are another carrier. But just maintaining that property. Also, to help prevent them from getting in your yard, I've heard of people mowing the grass very short between their lawn and like forests or fields nearby. Yeah, so one of their modes of transport, so after they fall off their host, so they take a blood meal, they fall off their host, they move to the next growth stage, and then they crawl up long pieces of grass, and their front two hands, they put their hands out in the air, and they wait for something to walk by, and then that's when they grab on like Velcro.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's so neat how they work. I hate ticks, so I hate to call them neat, but it is really neat.
We have them, so we have to embrace them, right?
I don't know.
Not embrace, but we'll appreciate their style of transportation.
Yeah, we can appreciate them for what they are. That's fair. I like your glass half full look on ticks.
I don't like them either, but they're around. So we have to be prepared. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is start looking for them now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know I've got several friends that have pulled them off their young children. So definitely be looking around like the hairlines, your armpits, places where the skin kind of folds together, because ticks, they like to climb up, so you don't typically find them around feet and legs. You find them further up on the body, so they climb up, but they'll also climb until they find somewhere where they feel they're tucked in nice and safe. So we could find them around like our waistbands. Sometimes you can find them around where like your sock sits on your ankle, but typically they're going to be up in that hairline, around ears and armpits, things like that. So be looking there, and right now they can be very, very small. So if you notice any extra freckles on yourself or your children, maybe take a closer look. And then also ticks, we've got 3 main different types. We have deer ticks, dog ticks, and lone star ticks. We're starting to see Asian longhorn ticks in our area as well, but I think they're still a little bit in the southern part of the state.
Okay. Do they look any different than in?
Yeah, so they have, I don't think, it might be more like antenna, but they look like they have long horns on them, which is where they get their name. They're invasive. They're from Asia, again, hence their name. But they're a big issue in the cattle industry right now because they carry a disease that actually causes anemia in cattle specifically. And that might be because of a parasite. I believe it's a parasite they carry that causes cattle to be anemic. But I believe it was in Dearborn County last year. We actually saw a cow die from anemia, and it was caused because of this parasite from the Asian longhorn tick. So they are in the area, so that might be a 4th tick that you see. But what I see a lot of is the lone star tick, dog ticks, and deer ticks.
So when we're talking about cattle, is there much that you can do to be preventative when it comes to that?
Yeah, you can work with your vet to get on, a preventative for parasites. Typically, they're topical. They might have some that are injectable as well. Your local veterinarian would probably know more about that than me. But unfortunately, that's just a fact of having cattle is they have to be out on pasture. They have to eat grass, and that's that same environment where those ticks live as well, along with other parasites. I think in the winter months, you might tend to see, if they're kept in the barns and things, you might see lice, things like that as well. So definitely be looking at your cattle. Cattle right now are probably, if they're getting turned out to pasture, the biggest thing you're going to see with them right now is bloat. So be watching them. If you're training them out on fresh, lush, green pasture, especially with legume, you're going to see them bloat up. So it's really important to be watching them, and in an emergency have a vet on dial, or even maybe some way to help prevent that bloat.
Yes. Yeah. They get so excited because the grass is green finally, and they just feel like they can get out and graze, and most of the time it's fine, but you just have to be aware.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody asked me recently about grass tetany in cattle, and I believe that that's more caused by if you fertilize your pastures, I believe it's too much potassium, it might be phosphorus, but one of those macronutrients actually inhibits the grass from uptaking magnesium, and that causes a deficiency in cattle, and it can cause them to become kind of weak. They're starting to get some muscle paralysis, and it can even lead to death in our cattle. So make sure that you're watching your cattle for any weird signs, especially if you fertilize your fields and things like that. But grass tetany around here isn't super common. But those are two things that I would think of going into the springtime with our cattle.
Be very aware of what's happening.
Yeah,
gotta pay attention.
Absolutely. Yeah, always watch your cattle. That's just good animal husbandry, right?
Mine, so after I take the bucket down and feed them, they all get a pet on the head as they come back, because then they're used to you, and but part of that reasoning too is then you're like, I really am focusing on their head, their eyes are right there in front of me when I do that. So
absolutely, watching their head, their eyes, any like running noses, also watching their gait when they walk, looking for early signs of lameness that could be indicative of hoof rot, things like that as well. Especially, we're getting all this rain, so we might see some hoof rot and things like that pop up too. And I guess while we're talking about just livestock in general, make sure that you do have a relationship with your veterinarian. So we always like to promote a veterinary client-patient relationship. Everybody that has animals or has worked with a vet knows that there's not very many vets around, and that causes vets to have a lot of stress on them, and it can be hard to get into the office with them, right? So it's much easier if you have a working relationship with your veterinarian. If something happens, then you can give them a call, and them getting you the right medical advice or information. It's much easier if you've already got that established relationship.
I have so many people will say, which vet do you use? And I need them right now. Well, it doesn't anymore. It does not work that way very well. Right. So you really need to plan ahead.
Yes, absolutely. It's better to be prepared than try and treat in an emergency, right?
Absolutely. Yes. What other fun stuff do you have coming up?
Oh, goodness. So another thing that we're looking for coming out of winter is inspecting our trees for any sort of frost damage. I know we just bought a house, and one of our new trees that we've inherited, I noticed it in the winter that it had a nice big split right down the middle, so it got some frost cracking. And I think we might have talked about this a little bit last month about the exploding trees.
Yes.
So when we see those hard freezes, trees have water in them, and then water expands when it freezes, so that would put pressure on the tree, and so that's where we were getting some of those exploding tree videos from. But it can also lead to some frost cracking, and I think that's what happened with our tree, is that it had a nice warm day where it took up a lot of water from the ground, and then it had a quick freeze, and that caused some rapid expansion in our tree, so it split, and now that structural integrity of that tree is compromised, and it's very close to our house, so I think it's a tree that we'll probably end up just taking down. But yeah, so looking for things like that, especially trees around buildings, to prevent any property damage, and then looking for limbs that maybe don't look so hot or breaking, and then doing just regular pruning and maintenance there.
So we had the freeze, right? The last couple nights have been the freeze warning. So I have one magnolia tree.
Oh, I love magnolia
and it's pretty
trees.
Massive, but you get one shot. Like it's either going to bloom or it's not, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So mine is like budded. So I'm really hoping, that we did not get the freeze damage that was a possibility. Yes. And there's really no way to know yet. I have to give it a few days and see, but I know other people are in that same situation because of the time of the year.
Yes. And so I cover Decatur and Dearborn counties, and I've actually seen some of the magnolias down in Dearborn County flowering.
Have you?
And it's just it's definitely a sign of spring. I love the magnolia
That would probably
trees.
be 90% of the reason I bought that house.
Really?
Because it sits at the end, I have big windows at the end of that house, and then that tree sits outside those windows.
It's just gorgeous.
Love it, yeah.
Yes.
So last year it bloomed the 2 years before Mother Nature got it. So
oh no,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed this year.
That's right.
It's just so tricky with our Indiana weather.
It is. We're a little bipolar right now.
Just a little bit.
It's okay. We'll get through this.
Yeah. Are we? What is it, like the second winter or third winter? I always see this thing go around online where it's like we're in our false spring and then second false spring. I think we get like 3 false springs before we're in spring.
And I feel like this is the third one. And now we're going to, you know. Now, Randy Allis did tell me last week that he felt we were safe to say no more snow. Finally.
Yeah,
so
hopefully. I hope so. Yeah. I always say living in Indiana, to survive the winters, you have to have some sort of winter hobby.
Yes.
And mine historically has been skiing. I'm sure I've talked about that once or twice. And I had a baby this winter, so I did not get
You had
to
a
go
new hobby.
Skiing. Yeah, I had a new hobby. And I hated every aspect of winter this year. I did not hate cuddling with my baby. That was really nice. But the outside part was not very fun this year.
I think, too, it seems like the winter was very cold for a long amount of time. And we had a lot of snow. And so it just complicated it.
Yes, it was pretty. But, again, if you don't have that hobby to make it through, then I'm sure you're just like us. And you're ready for that weather to warm up.
That's right. Flower season's going to be here.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for flower season. And so if you are thinking about flowers and getting stuff in your garden, maybe consider some native flowers. You know, people tend to think about natives and maybe they're not quite as flashy or as showy. But we can still get some things in like black-eyed Susans and coneflowers. Those are 2 great native plants that we can plant that are good for our pollinators as well. And then also milkweed, you know, drawing those butterflies and things. It doesn't all have to be about the flashy flowers. It can be about the flashy bugs too.
We love bugs.
And I believe Soil and Water, they are doing a native plant sale as well. I'm not quite sure when that ends.
Active right now, but I think the days are numbered. So
yeah. So definitely, if you're listening to this, you're thinking about getting some native plants. They usually have a really good price. It's like $2 a plant or $3 a plant. They're pretty
very
fair.
Reasonable. Yeah. I'll see if I can find the date.
Okay.
On that one. But yes, that's coming up. So don't miss out, right?
Yes, don't miss out. Get your natives planted. And then we're also doing, that brings me to another good thing, our tree giveaway. So Soil and Water, they do a tree giveaway every year as well. Recycling comes out and helps, and so does Purdue Extension. So that should be on the first Saturday of May. So this year, that is May 2nd. That will be at the Decatur County Fairgrounds. And I don't remember if there's a limit on trees or not. I think it's maybe 5 to 10 trees per resident. But I will say, if you come later in the evening, you might not get exactly what you want, but you might get more as the numbers are starting to dwindle and we still have extra to give away. So if you're more quantity over what you're actually getting, I'd say come later. And if you have specific trees in mind, then come earlier.
The native plant sale is going on now until April 23rd.
Okay.
You do, yes. April 23rd is the cutoff. Yes.
Yeah, right about 2 more weeks.
So if you want something, you better. And there's quite the variety that they have.
There's a wonderful selection. And I think they write about what pollinators they attract and planting conditions and all that kind of stuff.
And you can call out there if you have questions. And it's also on their Facebook page. It has all of them listed. So
Yep, yeah. So if you visit the Decatur County Soil and Water Facebook page, they'll have all that info there. And they should also have info about our Rain Barrel program. That's also on the Purdue Extension Facebook page as well. So if you're listening and you didn't know, we're on Facebook. And I believe recycling is as well, and so is the Decatur County Community Garden. So go ahead, pull out your cell phones and follow all of those things because we have wonderful programs popping up all the time.
I think it's been really cool to watch over the last 2 or 3 years how many of the different agencies are working together.
Yes.
And you've been a big part of that along with Soil and Water and recycling. So kind of talk about those relationships.
Absolutely. So yeah, we do a lot of stuff together. Soil and Water, they definitely lead the way with, they primarily conduct the resource recess. They take the lead on our Ag Day program and help coordinate all of that. They do a lot of wonderful events for our community and our youth. And then recycling, they do so much as well. I know Stephanie does a great job with the community recycling days and things like that, and gets out not just in Greensburg but also to some of the further away cities like Westport. I think they also do St. Paul, and then all come together and do the community garden. And
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very fun too. If you have an idea for like, hey, I want to do this type of program, I think this is interesting, you can always call them, and we can work together and actually get something done for our community.
Very good. Any other news from your realm?
I don't think Purdue has anything else big. I'm sure I'll get back to my office and then I'll think, oh my goodness, I should have talked about this.
So since this will be your first summer at your new house,
yeah.
So how are you kind of been plotting and scheming as far as flowers, and are you gardening or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I shot myself in the foot, really, with a new baby, and then I'm planning to put in a 20-foot by 10-foot garden space.
Oh my!
So it should be pretty big. And then I also have chickens.
Okay.
So my husband was a little bit frustrated with me because last night he finally gave in. We had a dog kennel. So it was an old shed that the previous owner had turned into a heated house for a dog with a run. And I thought, oh, what a wonderful place for chickens.
That's right.
So we've been going back and forth on if that would become a chicken coop or not. And we had chicks in the brooder. They'd been flying out, so they were in our garage. We got tired of chasing them. So last night at about 9 p.m., he was out there with me helping convert it finally into a chicken coop.
They now have a home, right?
They do have a home, and we had hatched those chicks with South Dearborn High School. So some people might be thinking, well, that's a little bit of a drive away. Since returning from maternity leave, I now cover Decatur and Dearborn counties. So that might be, if you've tried to get in contact with me, why it may have been a little bit tricky. We're still trying to figure out a good way to
split that time, right?
Split that, absolutely. Yeah. It's been a transition. But yeah, so I was in Dearborn County doing chicken hatching, and now I'm in Decatur County, so we're doing chicken hatching again, but we're doing it with the third graders at Greensburg Elementary.
So fun.
We have a dozen eggs that we're hatching with those third grade classes, and that's actually where I was on Monday. So we went to all 7 of the third grade classes. We had our incubator. Our eggs have been in there for 1 week, and so I'll have even more chickens that I'm taking home at the end of this, hopefully some more hens, because my first round that I did at the high school, I brought home 7 birds, 5 were roosters.
Oh my, yes, yep. You need some hens.
Yes, I would like just a couple more hens to help fill our fridge with some eggs. But yeah, so we're excited about that. That was really neat because a lot of the children, they shared that some of them have never seen a chicken.
This is a whole new process
for
them.
They're very excited. So we're hatching a dozen eggs. We did candle them. It looks like 10 are going to actually hatch. And they will be Plymouth Rock chicks. So
fun. What a fun job you have. I'm jealous of those things.
Yeah, it's fun that every day looks different. It can get a little hectic sometimes trying to remember what's on the calendar. I know I got to my office last Wednesday in Aurora and looked at my calendar and saw that I had to be in Bartholomew County by noon. So that was a fun little thing.
A little change of pace, right?
Yeah, but it's good because it keeps you moving and you're doing something different every day.
If people have questions for you, because you can answer all kinds of things, that's
absolutely.
The best part. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can give me a call here in Decatur County. So that number is 812-663-8388. And if you can't reach me there, give me a call in Dearborn County. So that phone number is 812-926-1189. You can also email me. So my email is Allen, ALLEN, 484@purdue.edu. And so hopefully one of those 3 ways you'll make contact with me. I know it's hard with me floating around, but that email especially, I'm pretty good at
easiest way to
answering.
Get to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you as always for coming in, and you always have fun information to share.
Absolutely. Hopefully I'll have some more fun information for next month. I know I'm a little light on it this month, but
well, you had a lot of fun stuff today, though.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yes, lots and lots of fun stuff. We will see you next month, and we'll see what's happening, right?
Absolutely.
All right. It's 11:42 on Tree Country 1330.
Thanks.